Hi guys, so welcome back to the channel. Oh wow, that must have been for my cards. They just kind of blew me away. But anyway, so I'm here. I want to tell you guys a few things that have been running through my mind all morning that have been repeating. So I notice when I get repetitive visions, it is very important. It happened in Idaho 4 with the badge. It happened in Audrey with the sinking girl and her hands tied, that I mentioned in several of my videos. I should have made a video like this. So I'm learning my lessons and trying to share when I get random visions and things repeat. So it repeated so much this morning that I couldn't really deal. But there was also a few things too that I kind of put together from the prior reading. So I'll just go through the things that I did, and then I pulled some more cards too, and I don't like it. So um I'm kind of concerned. All right, so anyways, this is for your discretion and is advised. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is all alleged. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. I just want to throw that out there. So, okay, let me see if I can explain this. So, in the reading, I did get Justin and an Isabella. I did not know that was an actual case. I thought maybe it was something that was going to come up in the future. But I happened to look it up, and there was a case where Justin unalived an Isabella. It was her cousin. It was his cousin, and he buried her a mile away. I tend to think that my whenever I get cases like that, if this is what they meant by it, because it's all in how we perceive the information, that sometimes they relate to this case. So there might be similarities in this case. It could mean that he's within a mile. It could mean that he's buried. Also, the reference of Scorpio, it doesn't necessarily mean that Elijah has Scorpio in his chart, which he doesn't, but he does have Aries because I've been working with an astrologist that I know. And I'm actually going to want to learn how to do that myself because I think that could really help. But anyways, she said that Aries does uh, can mean fire, which a lot of these cards unfortunately lead to fire, as well as my visions, and as well as I keep literally pulling the same cards over and over. Like they're not changing. They're changing in the way that they are, like, but they're the same exact cards. It's so crazy. So no matter what cards I pull, they're all the same. Um, so there was that kind of reference to the case that we realized, but also the Scorpio thing. So Scorpio rules buried and it rules cemeteries. And again, it's not in really Elijah's chart. It was something I received in the reading. And it could be somewhere in the perpetrator's chart, but it's something I received as symbolism. So I take things as symbolism, and spirit kind of knows the things that I will look into and try to figure out. So those are a couple things I wanted to bring to your attention. Now, the visions that keep repeating are, I keep getting a reference to the water rising and falling. Now, this did come in the reading, but it's like it won't leave me alone. So it's almost like he's in an area where, and this is not going to be probably fool him because of what the cards are getting, but he's in an area of where the water rises and falls. So a marsh, somewhere like that, really close to the water, where if you were to put somebody there, maybe it was dry at that time, but if it rained or you had a lot of snow melting, the water would rise and then they would be underwater, and then it would fall and it would be, it wouldn't be underwater anymore. And I keep getting a reference to like a road flooded out. So this could be at any time. I don't know if it's happened yet, but it could be. I'm keep seeing the water going across the road and it flooding out. So that might be a symbolism to show us, hey, this is an area to check out because it's recently flooded, or it was flooded, you know, after the time that he went missing. So that's something that keeps repeating, is the water, the rising and falling water, which makes sense for these cards because sometimes it says burial and he's above ground, and sometimes it says he's underwater. And I just kind of put two and two together because that's kind of what happened with the last cards. Is I was getting both. I was getting water, burial, and land, not in water, then in water. So it confused me because I was like, how can you be in water and not be in water? Is this like two locations? Like, what the heck is this? I think they're trying to say that, sometimes he is underwater and sometimes he is not, depending on the water levels of where he's at. Because I feel like he's very, very close to water. So it would imply the river here. But every time I try to get away from the beach, the bay. Okay, so it's the bay, but for a long time I thought it was the beach because it reminds me of the beach on a map. I see things on a map, so I'm not from the area. I wasn't looking at the whole thing. So yes, it's a large lake, but to me it's a beach, a bay, whatever. So I keep, every time I try to get away from the beach, I keep being pulled back because of the boat horns, and the smell of like being close to like that kind of area, um, and the seagulls and all of that. So it kind of reminds me of staying kind of close to the coast. And another thing I kept seeing is searchers walking by him. So I don't know. I've heard a lot of people are saying woodland, and I do think that woodland needs to be checked because his moon goes right through there. What's odd is allegedly, so in the last reading we were talking about storage, and I'm trying not to flip flop around, but I'm going off my head with this. So the last reading we were talking about storage, and I said I need to know if he has a storage because I feel like it's significant. Well, the storage allegedly, if this is correct, I'm not sure if it is, it's been tipped in that he does have a storage, and it is over by where the mechanic was, which is over by woodland, which is where his moon crosses. So I find that kind of interesting. And now charts can change depending on if we have the time of where this happened wrong and all of that. But usually they can go by when they were last seen, and it can be pretty accurate, but things can shift and change due to if it happened earlier, like the 17th, which I feel happened Saturday the 17th. Because all that time is unaccounted for. I did not know that when I kept getting Saturday. Then I found out it was the 17th, and yeah. So they're crisscrossing their numbers with Quentin. But anyways, I really feel strongly that it happened the 17th and that he had all those days. So, and I could be, like I said, I keep getting pulled over to all of the maps, like was Soto and Oshkosh and Appleton and Green Bay, and it turns out those are all places that they live. So that's why I talk about like my map. I don't know why I get pulled to certain areas unless somebody's like, oh, well, they used to live there. Oh, where they used to work there. But a lot of times I do feel things. I do get a headache in Woodland. So this would tell me, again, really wet area, really woodsy area in a place where the water rises and falls. And I also feel like super close to a road. And this makes sense because there is a road here. And the crossroad card got pulled again. And I'll go over the cards in just a minute. So these are just the things that we figured out from the reading. And I did get that in the reading, and it does repeat. And also, for some reason, the cemetery seems significant. And I don't know if they're trying to say, okay, close to the cemetery as well, or the cemetery is in the area, or there's some other situation there. Oh, the other thing I keep seeing is the tops of trees burnt. So I don't know if it's symbolic for fire or if there was actually a fire in the area. This would be why maybe I got really hot and I couldn't breathe. So there is fire surrounding this case a lot because of that feeling. Every single time I pull the cards, I pull the fire card and the bone card. Sorry, I hate to say that. And every single time, and we have to think this guy's gang affiliated, so they do certain things no matter, to hide their crimes. That's what I keep going back to. So it's not unseen, unheard of when we go back into the child cases and things that people have done, Harmony Montgomery, etc. So I hate to say that, but I would love to be completely wrong about this, and I hope that I am wrong. I hope that he's alive somewhere. I hope someone came and got him, but unfortunately, from what I've seen, the astrology and the numerology does not depict a good outcome, and it matches what I'm getting. So those are things that you really can't change. At least, the mapping can be off, but the circumstances can't be changed when it comes to those kind of things. So, those are all important things that I feel. And right now they're showing me a cross. So that would tell me a church may be nearby. But I feel like the storage area is really significant. So there might be something in that storage. And remember, whenever I get visions of things, it could be things around. It could be symbolic. It could be, I get a lot of directional stuff, like you pass this, you pass that. Or if you're here, you can see this, this, and this, okay? The sounds that I keep hearing are kids screaming. So a park, a school, which I pulled the school card twice. And boat horns. Those are the two strongest sounds that I can hear. The boat horns are really freaking loud. So it might be like just that this area is close to like a barge or where there's certain boats and whatnot. Sorry, Neo, I'm doing cards, baby. So that seems to be, those are the two sounds that seem to be significant. Every time I go into this, it's like I hear kids screaming. So back when I did Modesto, I think that was Madeira, Modesto, I don't know. It was the 4 people that were kidnapped and alive. I kept hearing the baby crying over and over. It turns out the baby was alive for some period of time, and it drove me crazy trying to find the baby. So it's kind of like that. Like it's internal hearing, but I can hear it. And usually if I hear sounds, it's important. So the sounds of the forest, the sounds of everything, the sounds of cars. I hear the sounds of cars, so I feel like he's got to be by a road because I keep pulling the road card, I keep pulling the crossroad card. Okay, and also because I'm keep seeing the flooding go over the road, it might be like, he's by that road that's flooding over. But it's almost like maybe that's why they were giving me springtime, or when it warms up and the water goes down, the water level goes down, it might be easier to find him. Just putting that out there. Okay, that's the way that it's coming across. That's the way I'm perceiving it. Could be misperceiving it wrong, but that's how I'm seeing it, and that's how I'm taking it. I just get this rise and fall of water, and it's like sometimes he's underwater, sometimes he's not. And this would just be what's left, unfortunately. I don't I don't know if they tried to use fire and then it took too long or didn't work out or whatever. I'm not sure. I do feel like there's got to be evidence in that storage shed, and it's got to be significant because during the reading I kept saying he's got storage. It's important. I wish I knew what a storage shed was. Well, it's by the moon line and the marsh. Just saying. And so I always do my readings first, and then sometimes I'll try to match up the astrology. And I'm going by my friend that sends me validation sometimes. But again, I'd love to learn how to do that on my own. That's something I'm really going to strive for because I think it would help a lot with location. And I'm totally drawn to that stuff anyways. So I'm gonna go over the cards. If I get any other random visions while I'm talking to you, I'll let you know. But these are all important points, okay? So we have to follow what I see and kind of not go away from that, because I notice people try to take me away, and always my first thing is right, and always the first things I'm getting is right. Or sometimes I'll take myself away. Like for instance with Audrey, even though I saw her sinking and her hands tied in water, I was questioning it because it wasn't coming in the reading. So now I'm going to be taking my random visions more seriously because they do lead to a lot of good information. And I notice they're always accurate, is when I'm not trying to get them. They're important. So all this stuff kind of repeated when I was trying to sleep. It's like I woke up and then it was like in my mind over and over. And I was like, okay, I gotta make a video on this. All right, so this will make sense now when I go over the cards. So we have, and I'm wondering. So hopefully you guys can still hear me. I had to move my my mic over, and people complain, you're too close, you're too far, I can't hear you, go closer. I don't know what to say. This was a gift. Mic was a gift, and it's the best I can do. I don't have a lot of money to spend on things. We're lucky we have what we have. So, all right. So we have the water card. So water is very significant. Again, I feel like he's by the bay. I feel like he's still in and out of water. Private property is significant. So it could be near someone's private property. I've gotten this before. It doesn't necessarily mean he's on private property, but it could be near private property. Also, if it happened on a private property, that could be why it's coming in as well. He's hidden, so he's not visible. In my opinion, like you're not going to walk by and just see him laying there. That's how it comes across. That's how I'm taking it. Then we have the crossroad card. I have not been able to find this road. I thought I found it, but they searched and it's not it, or they didn't find him, unless that's an area that I don't know. But the crossroads, one road goes one way, one goes another, and then the one that I keep seeing loops around. So that's interesting. Frozen, because if you guys have had any snow out there or whatever, he would have been frozen for a period of time, especially if he was covered in water at that point in time. Which wintertime, you guys have rain, you have snow, so it's the water level is rising. You see what I mean? And also the road's significant. Okay. A lot of the bodies are found near roads, but in this one, I keep looking off, like closer to roads, because that's what it feels like. I did kind of the same thing with Madeline Soto when I was looking for her on my own. I kept looking for woods off the side of the road because that's what I felt. So road seems to be significant here because we have the crossroad and we have the road, and it's almost like someone just like finds a place, goes, and then we have the school. So I don't have a park card, so I kind of keep going back and forth between the park and the school, so it could be both. This school tends to have a cross on the top. It could be a religious school or something like that, but it could be any type of school. But I keep hearing kids playing, so it seems to be significant in some way, shape, or form. And then we have the fire card for the 100th time. Every time I pull that, I get this card. Never fails. Every single time. Inside. So he's inside something. Or it happened inside, but he's inside something. Burial. Okay. Underground. So he is buried underground, but still in water, because it's like it didn't have water at that time, but then the water rose, if that makes sense. And then the boat. I keep hearing the boat. It's very close. I take the boat card, and I didn't get the beach card this time, but the beach is right. I mean, the bay, the beach. The boat card is like an area where there would be boats, and I keep hearing boat horns, so that makes sense. That keeps coming in over and over and over. Then we have the neighborhood card, so it did happen in a neighborhood, but this could be like right outside a neighborhood, because in my visions there was still kind of like houses and stuff around, but yet it was still like remote, if that makes sense. Then we have the river card. Okay, so close to the river. I feel he's very close to the river. And I think he's got Aquarius in his chart, which kind of, from what I understand, it does rule fast moving water. Okay. We have hollow earth. This came in the last reading. So however we take the hollow earth, I'm gonna look. I really don't know what hollow earth is. Every time I look it up, it says just the earth is hollow, but this comes across as like a cave or a cavern or something like that. Or, it could also mean like underground, I guess, because that's basically everything that, I don't really know what the hollow earth is. If you guys can explain that to me, please do. And then we have bones. So unfortunately, the fire and the bones always come in together. I hate to say that. And power supply again. So and power supply usually runs along the road. So I feel like there's the power supply running along that road right there, and then underwater, because he probably is underwater right now, depending on how much water you guys have. So when the water goes down, he's more likely to be found. That's the way it's coming across, and they probably knew this. Like, that's why I said it feels really wet and damp and stuff. And it's almost like woods and marsh together. But I did notice that the marsh out there does have trees in them. But the tree that I saw that was burnt was like the like didn't have any leaves on it or anything. Like, it was a dead tree. So I don't really know if it was symbolic, or if it was like saying there's a fire in this area, or random fire, or if it has to do with him. It could be symbolic. Okay. So then we have public building. So he could be not far from a public building, but also I'm kind of wondering, like, it kind of makes me think of the storage, and then I get the dumped card. So he was just unfortunately dumped. It feels like it was really fast too. Like, go out there, do this real quick, and go back. And it would be an area they know. Also, the moon rules the mother, so an area she knows. But sorry, it goes along with the fire and the bones that I pull every single one, and me getting hot. Sorry. I don't even want to think about it. See, and then we get like above ground, because sometimes maybe depending, sometimes when the water goes down, it takes some of the mud with it. So maybe he eventually will rise. Maybe they didn't think about that. Maybe they thought he'd be underwater, but maybe there might be, a time where the water goes way down. Or then we have this card. Sorry, again, but I'm getting, bones, and I'm still getting a place where a body is. So I don't think it would be ash, so to speak. And I don't know if like he would have, like, he could get into a cemetery. Who knows? Like I said, he's gang. He doesn't allegedly gang affiliated. So, you know what they do. You know the things that they do. And we look at Harmony Montgomery case, and we look at Gannon's case, and we look at all those cases of, you never know. People do things, all sorts of things. And I hope I'm wrong, but wooded area. So wooded area is so important. Sorry about my birds. It's the middle of the day. This card comes in every single time. Sorry, it does. I pull it every single time. And then we have the stored card. So again, I felt like he was stored for a certain point in time. It also takes me back to the freaking storage. There's something about that storage. They need to search the storage. If it's not the storage that we know about, it's got to be a different one. They need to search the storage and the area around the storage. I get this stored card every single time. Got storage in the reading. Just saying. Okay. Oh, my ball's going off. Look at that. Look at that. Holy crap. Validation, guys. I know it's the middle of the day. You can't see it, but pay attention to it right here. And that's me noticing it. It might have went off before that. Okay. That's validation. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Oh. Thank you, Spirit. We have school again. Okay. School seems to be important. I can hear kids screaming. I'm telling you. All right. Ball's still going off. It's going wild here with the stored. All right. The thing is I wondered if he was in the storage shed at some point, or if he is. The thing is I keep getting that rise and fall of water, and I feel like I'm in a marshy stuff area, so I don't know. I don't know if it's like, it's still going off. Holy crap. There's no dogs there. Nope. Look at that. It's major. I've been waiting for that to go off for this reading. I have been waiting for that, and it's still going. Can you guys see it? Okay. Work. So it's going off still. The work card is, so I know that he did like power washing and stuff. I don't know if he stored any of his work stuff. I'm still watching it. Stored any of his work stuff at the storage, or if it's just an area he like works at. I'm not sure. I wondered if he like power washed like gravestones. That's an idea. That's just a random thought. Look at, it's going off again. Holy crap, man. And it's so still. There's nothing going on around here. So sometimes if you yell really loud, or you like you move, the dogs bark, it'll go off. But I don't think there's anything making it go off. It's going wild. Sometimes it'll do this, especially in readings. It'll just go off, and it will go off, and I'll video record it for my clients. But this is a lot. I think this is the most ever, and it's literally so still. So we have proper burial. So again, in water. So again, with the rising and falling, it's like almost like sometimes he's out of water, sometimes he's in water, depending on, and there it goes again, depending on the up and down of that water. Public area. So that again takes me to the storage shed. It takes me to maybe an area behind like a more public area. It's not as remote as it seems, but it is remote, if you know what I mean, kind of thing. Water again. Okay. Underground. But it's still kind of random. So it makes me think if he's not exactly in woodland, like he's really close, or he's really close to an area that like it's a random area, but there it is again. Like it's a random area, like off a road somewhere, not necessarily in woodland, but maybe close, or just a marshy area that's random off the road, that might be near the storage shed, that might be kind of close to the house, like that kind of comes in. But I keep getting a reference to the cemetery too. And look at that thing. It's validating force major. So I would pay attention to every single ball that went off, or how the ball went off, and how much it validated what it validated right there. Thank you, Spirit, so much for validating this. I've been waiting for this to go off for his reading. Amazing, especially since the middle of the day. So usually it's a little more active later in the day, but that's pretty freaking amazing. So that's what I have for you. Those are my thoughts and cards on this. I hope that it's helpful. There's also a reference to, he might be in something, like some sort of bag, or I keep kind of going back to the Harmony Montgomery case, how they think like she's in a bag. In the area might be similar, like there might be they might be bringing that up to like reference similarities in that case. So unfortunately, and that might be why it keeps coming to mind, and they're bringing it up again. Like they're showing me the bag that Harmony was supposed to be in. It's kind of like I'm getting maybe something like that too. So the burning is really got me. The fire, because again, I pull the fire card every single time, the bone cards every single time. We've got it multiple times in these cards, and then I felt really hot, and I get the burning of the trees. So there's something significant with fire, I hate to say, and then I go back to the Harmony Montgomery case. So there's some similarities maybe in where it may be. I hope that he'll be found. I mean, I kind of got the reference to April, or when maybe it dries up a little bit more. everything has timing. So no matter how hard we want to find them and how much we want to find people, everything has timing to it. They'll be found when and if and how they're meant to be found. I've seen several cases where places have been searched, and you know, I I explain people, well, you need to go back. They were missed, and they go back and they're missed. That's been 2 cases recently where they told me it was searched completely, and I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. You need to go the opposite direction of the way that you went and go search that area. And then when it finally was, or somebody found evidence or something, they ended up searching back that area again, and they were found. So apparently the area was completely searched, but they were still found in that area, and that's happened a few times. And I've even seen it on psychic detectives where the psychic will literally send somebody to a spot. The dogs, everybody missed it, and then months later they'll be sent back to that spot and find the body. So it has to do with timing, and if someone's meant to be found, they'll be found how they're meant to be found. If a psychic's meant to do it, it'll happen. If a worker's meant to find them, it'll happen. If a group of people, if police, I kind of think that police will. I don't know if there's going to be a deal made. I don't really know, because I kind of like see police standing around like pointing in an area. It could be called from a tip or whatnot, but I feel like the searchers have been close, but maybe, I noticed that like people were saying Woodland wasn't really searched. I think we need to be searching by roads for sure, specifically around crossroads and any of the areas that I was describing. But road seems significant. So it's almost like I feel like searchers were by him, but maybe they couldn't see him if he was underwater at that point, or he's not visible. So it's going to be really tough. And if he's meant to be found, he'll be found. Either he gives location or somebody runs across it. But I do see police standing around, pointing into an area, kind of like they do. You have the corner. I see the corner vision of that. So there must be something that's still yet to be recovered. But they're showing me that. So it tells me that at some point he's going to be found. I feel like April or the end of March. Like springtime seems significant when it dries up a little bit more. So like that kind of seems a little significant. Like maybe when it dries up a little bit more. But I don't know. Again, those are areas that I would check. Any place that he was known to go or store things or work. I know he had his own business, but it could be past work as well, like a place that he used to work at that he may know, a place she used to work at that she may know. That could tie the work part in, or a place that they work the most in, or they know the most, that kind of thing. So, I don't know. I hope that this was helpful. It wasn't. It was visions, reading cards. You got some validation on the ball. So thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing. Share this around. It's important. Like I said, he'll be found when and if he's meant to be found, but still, it doesn't hurt to look. I still drive myself crazy trying to find people. And this one hits me hard. It reminds me a lot of Quentin. If you guys don't know, we're around during that time. Quentin was really important to me. He made me buy this little dinosaur thing that's up here, or dragon. He was running up and down my hallway. The cat was over here bugging me when I was at the landfill on the map. I had his location the first reading. So actually, I had him before he was born, 3 years before. So if you guys haven't checked that out, that did happen. And this reminds me very much of that. And in Autowrite 10, I did talk about a kid going missing that was very similar to Quentin. It doesn't necessarily mean the same area. I'm not getting landfill at all. So I'm just not. With Quentin, I got the trash truck. I kept going back to the landfill no matter where I went, and dumpsters and stuff. And this, I'm not getting that. You guys know what I'm getting. So I try to help as much as I can. I try to give you as much as I can, and I'll get what I'm supposed to get in the timing I'm supposed to get it. So, my son's name is Elijah, and my heart goes out to the family. I've been in touch, and my thoughts and prayers are with you. I can't imagine going through this. It's a tough situation. It's so hard, and he's such a sweet boy. So thank you guys, everybody. I appreciate you so much, and I'm gonna get off here before I get emotional. See you next time.